Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we're going to continue doing chemistry Regent for August 2018. Now we are doing part P1. Now, what is the net charge of an ion that has 11 protons and 10 electrons and 12 neutrons? So for my calculation, the neutron is out my calculation. So proton are positive and electron is negative. So positive 11 plus negative 10 giving me +1. So the answer is number 1. Question number 32. Which electron configuration represents the electron of an atom in excited states? So in excited states, one of the electron is going to move to the next orbital. Okay, so one of the electrons is going to go to the next orbital. So here, the first shell always 2. Now I'm talking about the second shell. So if it's 5, if it's excited, it should be 4, 1. So this one is not applicable. Now for 2, 8, 5. Now 2 and 8 are false. So if it's excited, it's going to be 4, 1. So it's incorrect too. So if looking again, 2, 5, 1. So here the second shell doesn't have the 8 electrons. So what does it mean? I have an excitation for the second shell. That's why one of the electrons jump to the next level. So the answer is going to be number 3. Question number 33. Which element is liquid at 1000 Kelvin? So here we're talking about the melting point. Because it's liquid, that's melting point. So I'm looking for the reference sheet and I'm looking for the melting point for silver, aluminum, calcium, and nickel. I'm looking for the melting point. Now, that's going to be on table S. So the melting point for aluminum, so here, aluminum, the melting point is 933 and the boiling point is 2792. So at 1000 Kelvin, the aluminum is liquid. Okay. Now I'm looking for the silver, calcium. Now calcium, the melting point is 1115 and the boiling point is 1757. So at 1000 it was solid. Now for nickel. Nickel, its boiling point is 1728 and its boiling point 3186. The last one is the silver, EG. Silver. Okay, since I'm not memorizing the silver, so it's the element 47. Element 47, silver, but 1235 and 20435. So if you're looking, the only case the in 1000 is going to be the liquid is the aluminum. So the answer is going to be number 2. Question number 34. Which formula represents ammonium nitrate? So now I'm looking for the reference sheet, page 1. Now the nitrate symbol is NO3. So the one that has NO3. So the one has NO3 is these two. Okay. So I crossed out this one. Now I'm looking for that's the ammonium is positive 1, negative 1, so means the ratio is 1 to 1. So if I'm looking here, which one has a ratio for 1 to 1? That's 1 to 1, that's 1 to 2, so that's the correct one. So the answer is number 1. What is the empirical formula for butene? Butene, but means 4, enes means alkene, so it follow CN H2N, and you can find it in your reference sheet here. But means 4 and enes mean alkene, so it's follow this formula. So since it's C4H8, the empirical formula means in the simplest form. So it's the same ratio like CH2. So the answer is 1. Question number 36. Which represents the conversation of charge? So here I'm going to count. Here I have positive 6 because it's positive 3 times 2 is positive 6. And here's positive 4, positive 3, that's positive 7, and that's positive 6. So this one is incorrect. Now for the second one, I have 6. I have 6 and 6, 12 is incorrect. I have here positive 9. I have here positive 4 and positive 6 is incorrect. I have here positive 9, positive 6, positive 3. So the correct answer is going to be number 4. Question number 37. Giving a balanced equation represent, so we have here, what type of a reaction represented by this one? So look here, what happened here, I start by 2, I ended by 1 material. So that's a synthesis or combination or synthesis. Because decomposition means I start by 1, I get 2. Double replacement, so I start by 2 material, I end by 2 material. One single replacement, I start by 2 material, I end also by 2 material. So that's the synthesis one, because 2 becomes 1. When magnesium positive 2 becomes magnesium and the radius increase because magnesium positive 2 ion. So if you're looking for the magnesium, I'm looking for the magnesium. So magnesium is here, 2A2, that's magnesium. Magnesium positive 2, it's 2, 8, and losing these two. So what happened? Lose for 2 electron. So when he asking here, he said magnesium ion loses 2 and electrons because proton doesn't participate in the reaction, so loses 2 electrons. And that's the situation for magnesium positive 2. But to go backward, it should gain the 2 electrons. It should gain the 2 electrons. So here the magnesium atom radius increase because magnesium positive 2, to go for magnesium it should gain 2 electrons. 2 electrons. So the answer is 2. The least polar bond is formed in the molecules of. So now it's in another way. Now look, I have hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. So I'm talking about iodine, fluorine, chlorine, bromine. Which one has the more electronegativity? It's fluorine. So the answer is 2. So 39 is sorry. So the greatest one is fluorine. After that, chlorine. So that's number 1, the highest polar. The second highest polar. Bromine is the third highest polar. The least high polar is bromine. And if you forget that, you can go for your reference sheet and looking here. So fluorine, the top, that's the most electronegativity. then chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. So the iodine is the least one with the electronegativity. I use the trend in that part. Now, question number 40. A solution using prepared using 0.125 gram of glucose. Glucose is enough water to make 250 gram of total solution. The concentration of the solution represented by parts per million. So I'm going for my reference sheet, part per million, last page, part per million formula. So mass over whole time 1 million. Okay, now I'm going here back again. So now the mass is 125 times 10 to power negative 3, or in another way you can write it 0.125 divided by the total solution is 250 times a million. So in that case, I can write 125 times 10 to power negative 3 over 250 times 10 to power 6. Now I get half times 10 to power 3. Half to power half times 10 to power 3. Half is 0.5 times 10 to power 3. So I can write it as 5 times 10 to power 2. So the answer is 2. Question number 41. What is the amount of heat in joules required to increase the temperature of 49.5 gram water from 22 to 66 Celsius? I'm going for the reference sheet, the amount of heat. So I'm using Q equal to MC delta T. Delta T is 44, that's because 66 minus 22, and the mass is 49.5. Now the C is going to be in the reference sheet, the first page, the specific heat for specific heat of water, which is times 418. So I can now use the calculation. So 44 times 49.5 times 4.18 comes up by 9104.04. That's the answer I'm looking for. So 91.4 is this one. So the answer is 3 because it's rounded to. Question number 42. A sample of a gas in a rigid cylinder with a movable piston has a volume of 11.2 liters at STB. What is the volume of this gas at 202 kilopascal and 300 Kelvin? So a sample of a reagent with a movable piston as STB. So I'm using the combined gas law P1 V1 over T1 equal to P2 V2 over T2. Now he wanted the second volume. So V2 equal to B1 V1 T2 divided by T1 B2. So the first pressure is the standard. So for the standard, it's 101.3, and the volume, I'm going to get it. The second temperature, I'm going to get it. And the first temperature was 273, and the second temperature, I'm going to get it now from the question. So now The volume for the first one was 11.2. Okay, the temperature he wants now is 300 Kelvin. Okay, now the new pressure is 202.6. Okay, now I need to do the calculation. So 101.3 times 11.2 times 300, and I divided by 273. Again, I divided by 202.6. It's giving me 6.153. So the answer is 2. Question number 43. The equation below represents a reaction between two molecules X2 and Z2. These molecules are forming activated complex which form molecules of the product. Okay, which diagram presents the most likely orientation of X2 and Z2 when the molecules collide together? So to collide together, the most appropriate one, every atom should hit the other atom. So every atom should hit the other atoms. So that's what's going to happen. Each atom is going to hit another atom. Like here, I don't have the same ratios. And if you're looking here, it's showing you the activation, the activated complex, means they hit each atom hit the other atom. So the answer is going to be 2. Question number 44. What is the chemical name for the compound? So I'm going to count now. First I have here how many carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's bute, and it's follow CnH2n plus 2 because it's here C4 H8 plus 2, which is H10. So if you count 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 4 is 10, that's butane. So the answer is number 1. And you can use a reference sheet to find the numbers and the stuff here. So if you're looking here, butane is 4, and I use a formula to prove that it's alkane. Okay. In a laboratory activity, the density of a sample of vanadium is determined to be 6.9 at room temperature. What is the percentage of error for the determinant? So the first one, I have to know the actual one for the vanadium. So first, here, percent of error formula saying the measured minus the accepted over the accepted times 100. In that question, he giving me the measured, which is 6.9. So I have to find the accepted. The accepted, I can use my reference sheet to find the vanadium. Vanadium. Here, vanadium. The density for vanadium is 6. So now here is minus 6 over 6. So it's giving 0.9 over 6 times 100, which is 1.5, 1.15%. So the answer in that case is going to be 15%, number 4, since it's percent 4. That's question number 45. Now, question number 46. Giving the equation representing the reaction. So we have this type of reaction, which have reaction equation represents the oxidation reaction. So first, I have to determine which one is losing. So that's 0. Okay. Here, positive 4, negative. Okay. I think I have to write it in my way. So I'm going to CD was 0. Okay. Nickel and oxygen. Oxygen is negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. That's positive 4 plus 2 hydrogen, water. So that's positive 1, that's negative 2. Now what happened? The cadmium, the OH is negative 1, so that's positive 2. So what happened here? Loss of electrons. Plus nickel, OH, all 2. So that's positive 2, negative 1. So what happened here? The nickel gain electron. That's the difference in the oxidation number. And the cadmium lose electron. So he asking about have represent oxidation. So the cadmium lose electrons. The cadmium lose electrons. So the electron should be on the product. So for 46, the answer is 3. Question number 7. Which metal reacts spontaneously with nickel oxide? So first we have Au, Cu, Sn, Zn, and we have nickel chloride. So he wanted to know which one is active, so more active. So I go for the reactivity. Now the nickel is here. I'm looking for which of those is up. So cobalt, ferrous, chromium, zinc. I have zinc is here. So that's the only one. If you're looking for the other is going to come later. It's NCU and silver. So it's zinc. So for zinc, the answer is number 4, 47, 4. Which solution is the best conductor? So best conductor, it should be the more amount of ions. So I'm looking for the number of moles. The number of moles. And since all of them in the same volume, I'm comparing with the moles. So one with the highest moles are going to be the amount. So the answer is 3. 48 is 3. If you're giving me different, so I have to find the molarity, which is the number of moles, 0.001 over 1,000. I have to use the molarity formula. But since they have the same volume, I compare the number of moles. Compared to 1 liter of aqua solution with a pH of 7 and 1 liter of aqua solution of a pH 5. So now, if the pH is 7, so the hydrogen concentration is going to be 10 to the power negative 7. And the pH 5, so the hydrogen concentration is going to be 10 to the power negative 5. So if I divide 10 to the power negative 5 by 10 to the power negative 7, it's going to be 10 to the power negative 5 minus 7, which is going to be 10 to the power 200 times. And it's going to be with the hydronium ion. So the answer is, because I'm talking about the hydrogen and the hydrogen dissolved in water, giving me hydronium ion. Now, giving this reaction, I started here, you have lead plus zinc giving me semi. Which type of reaction represent in this reaction? So first I started by 2, I ended by 1. That's a synthesis reaction. That's a synthesis reaction. But since I don't have here synthesis, neutralization for acid base, acid base, I don't have a substitution because I start by 2, I end by 1. Polymerization, I don't have the same elongation for a compound. It's 2 different elements, so it's transmutation. Transmutation, because I started by 2 elements, I ended by a new element. Okay, that's the end for that part. Hope you understood. Have a good day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.